Wait until it starts. There we go. All right. So I think we need to go over that. A quick reminder, quarter one cutoff date is midnight tomorrow, which is Thursday, the 29th. We will not be able to accept anything Friday for grading. Ms. Narduzzi and I will be doing lots of nice administrative busy work in addition to trying to get everybody's grades finalized and put in for them, so that we can have our own time over the weekends. We have been updating grades. I try and do that at least once a day at the end of the quarter so that you have a realistic version of what's going on. If you need to redo any assignment, the only ones that you have to request a do-over on are the things that I need to go in and unlock something. So those would be things like an ed puzzle or one of the common lit articles. All of the other things that you have don't need to be unlocked, with the exception of the Collection 1 test. The Collection 1 test cannot be made up because the window for that has closed. All right, so I'm going to show you guys today how to check your progress, share with you what I've learned about the FERPA. And I apologize. Yes, Skylar. I apologize to everybody for not having that answer initially. I'm kind of learning along with you guys and have just figured this out. So it's kind of a little bit more difficult for me, simply because I don't have a student Naviance account and I had to go in and create a Common App account. So fun times. All right. So I'm going to show you guys what you need to do to check your progress. FYI, the student who I have logged in as does not actually exist anymore. They enrolled for about 5 minutes and then were withdrawn for whatever reason. I'm not sure. I think they actually go to a different school. So with that being said, please do not judge them and the lack of work that is turned in. Just know that they weren't actually in the class in order for them to have turned in any work anyway. So what you're going to do is when you go to the classwork page, in order to find your missing work, you're going to look for this little ID badge. The ID badge is the icon for view your work. If you're doing this on your phone, you can access this. If you're doing it on a tablet, you can access it. But it won't say view your work next to it. It will only say, it'll only have that little icon there. So what you're going to do is you're going to select that icon, that view your work, and it will take you to a page. Do not pay attention to the percentage because I'm actually going to be turning that off here shortly, because once we start with quarter 2 things, that's not going to be actually applicable to anything anymore, because we don't accumulate that way. We don't like average everything from the beginning of the year on. You get a quarter grade and then another quarter grade, and those two are averaged. With that being said, on this page, you can now see a list of all of the assignments and their status. I'm going to be going in today and putting in kind of a placeholder assignment that will be worth like 1 point that I give to everybody. Maybe, you know. So I'm going to go in and do that. And then you'll be able to like clearly see where quarter 1 starts, or quarter 1's list goes, and where quarter 2 begins. So the quarter 1 survey right now is kind of your marker here. That's the last assignment for quarter 1. Everything underneath here is going to be things that are graded and applied to your quarter 1 grade. Anything above it For example, the Ed puzzle on the facts about fact checking, and check yourself with lateral reading, which was assigned for tomorrow, but I opened it up early for you guys, so you can, if you would like to get that done today, if you're already caught up on everything else, then you can start your weekend definitely a little bit early and not have to worry about it. Yeah, so it'll show you your status for everything. What you need to do if your overall grade is not where you want it to be is come in here and make sure that you have completed everything that says missing on it. And then anything on here that has a low score that you want to reattempt, that you make sure that that is done. So if it is something like an article, you might have to request that by completing a do-over request. If it's something like this I believe essay, you just have to reset, like go and fix what you need to fix and resubmit. With that being said, you need to make sure that you are actually turning things in or hitting submit on those things. For example, if I went in and I attached something for my complete in application, I would be able to see that on my side as a student that I've added a file to this by going to add or create, selecting file, and then uploading like a screenshot from my computer. We'll add another one there as my example, so that I know that that's there. But if I don't click on that turn in button, my teacher isn't going to see that it's turned in. Ms. Narduzzi and I are not 6-year-old children. We're not going on an Easter egg hunt for your work. It is your responsibility to make sure it gets turned in. This is basically the digital learning equivalent of you did your homework, but you left it in your book bag or your locker. We can't grade what we don't have. All right. Okay. So make sure you're doing those things. The do-over request form is on the main page for the classroom. Any questions about how to find your missing assignments or anything else that needs to be taken care of? I'm not seeing any questions. All right, so then I'm going to ask you guys some questions to see, make sure that we understand. How many points are deducted when you redo an assignment? Brian, nope, you are incorrect. It is not half the points. Anybody else want to field a guess? If you redo an assignment, how many points do we take off for having to reattempt it? All right, so Quinn and Ryan, you are correct. None. No points. We don't take anything off if you need to redo it. If you redo a common lit or an ed puzzle and you get a lower score than you did the first time, we will give you whatever you did the first time. Okay, so we take the higher of the two scores. All right, how many points do you get taken off for late work? Ryan again says half. Nope, no points are taken off for late work at this point in time. This is basically, everyone keeps talking about showing grace. This is basically the grace that we are giving you guys. We are well aware that in this digital world, things don't always work. Computer issues happen. My internet was going in and out this morning. I had to restart my router twice. And so far, knock on wood, it seems to be better. But you know, we are well aware that things happen. that are not always inside of our control. And rather than holding you accountable for things that you can't control, we're not going to be like deducting points and things like that, that we typically would do if we were in the classroom for things like late work and whatnot. All right. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and close that window. We're going to take a look at the next thing, which is the FERPA and Common App issue. So I'm pretty sure that Mr. Russell hates me at this point, because I have emailed him several times with questions that people have come to me with. Everything varying from I can't sync my account because it says my names don't match. It says my name on Naviance doesn't match my name on Common App. I'm not entirely sure why it would do that unless you have like an apostrophe in your name, and for some reason that apostrophe is not included on your Naviance account. I mean, weird things happen. We have to remember that just like digital information is created by humans, humans are the ones who are putting in your information on Naviance. So typos happen. It can happen very easily. So if that does occur, let me know. We might just need to have them fix things. But every time I ask him a question, without fail, he responds to me, they need to do their FERPA. All right, so the FERPA is, it's a privacy act. It's an actual law. It's the Family Education Rights and Privacy Act is what FERPA stands for. And basically what it does is it protects your privacy as a student and your educational records. So without filling out that form, the school actually cannot share your information with other schools. So we can't, like, I don't care how awesome I think Angel is. I cannot send her records off to Hogwarts and making a suggestion that they, do the first allowance where they allow somebody who's not 11 years old to start learning there. So as much as she and I would probably both love it, it's not going to happen because I cannot by law share her records without her permission. All right. So the FERPA is basically a form that says that it's okay for the apps to share the information that you're giving them with the various schools that you're going to be applying to. Now, I do believe that you're going to have to fill out a FERPA for each school that you apply to. But you only have to do it one time in order to sync up your accounts, I think. I'm not 100% sure. I have to double check this. So basically what you got to do this, and this is why I said I apologize because I am learning this too. So I only just figured this out like yesterday during 6th period. All right. So what you're going to need to do is kind of a multiple step process here. You have to be logged into Common App. You have to have a Common App account in order to do this. And then you're going to first need to go into the Common App tab. All right, because you see there's a dashboard, My Colleges, Common App, College Search, and Financial Aid Resources. You want to go under the one that says Common App, and you want to fill out all of the information under the third little marker on the side here called Education. So it asks you a whole host of questions. Like what school are you attending right now? So yours would say Cleveland Heights High School. Is this a boarding school? No, you do not live at the school. Will you graduate from the school? Yes, you will graduate. When is your expected graduation date? You guys would put May of 2021. Unless there's something that you want to explain to me that I am unaware of, you're going to put in no change in progress because you expect to graduate on time. So that's just a weird way that they put it in there. Um, so you're, unless you're planning on taking a year off between college and high school, do not click on anything except for no change in progress. Okay. Then you're going to put in any other high schools that you went to. So I said 0 other high schools here. It's going to ask you about information about whether or not you did any college or university work, such as like College Credit Plus. I put no on this one because typically that's not something you guys have done. Then it's going to ask you how many people are in your graduating class. I'm not 100% sure about your graduating class. The exact number, I'm going to go with probably around 350 people, estimating. It's not about right, about 340 to 350. The GPA scale that we use is a 4-point scale, because I'm sure somebody's going to ask, because this thing goes all the way up to 100 point, which I was like, I've never heard of that, but okay. Your cumulative GPA, if you're not sure what that is not what you got like last quarter, but that is your overall GPA for the entirety of your high school career. You will need to, if you're not sure how to find that, it's on your transcripts typically. Is that, Ms. Narduzzi, is that something that is typically on their report card too? I can't remember.
You know what? We can see it from their grades page. I don't know if they can see it on their report cards. That's a good question. I know it's on their transcript. I think they can see their unofficial transcripts in Infinite Campus. I'm always confused for what we can see versus what they can see. But if somebody's really having a hard time finding that, just email one of us and we can help you with that.
Yeah, so you can email me, you can email Ms. Narduzzi, you can email your high school counselor, and any one of us should be able to get a hold of your GPA for you if that is something that you're not sure what it is. You're going to click unweighted unless you've done some sort of College Credit Plus thing, because I think when they do the College Credit Plus, that changes that a little bit. Again, if that is something that you aren't sure of, let me know and I will find out for Mr. Russell and get another one of his emails where he tells me how much he loves me. Okay, so then you need to fill out the next one, which is talking about your the most recent courses that you've taken. So it's going to, and here's like Christian's going to be like, really? There's that ASDF again. So I just, like I said, I started this account as kind of a chance for me to see what it's like on your end so I can show you guys what it looks like. So I said that we use quarters. I said that, you know, like a typical person right now should have between probably about 5 and 6 classes. So it's going to ask things like, what are the classes you're taking? So you would say English 4. You might put in AP Stats, or I'm not sure what else they're like typically that you guys are taking. AP Stats. Some people are taking calculus. You know, those are the kind of things it's asking you here, I believe, because it says current or most recent courses. I think they're asking you basically what kind of thing. They're trying to make sure that you're not taking a bunch of fluff courses, I guess. I'm not sure. And then they're going to ask you to list any honors that you've received in high school, things like graduating magna cum laude. You're not going to know right now, so that's something you might need to go back and change. But like if you're a member of National Honor Society, you can put that in here. If you're a member of Student Council or things like that that are going to look good on a college application, those are the things that you would be listing here. If you don't have anything, you can put no. But I would suggest trying to put something in there just because it looks good on an application. You know, it can even be things that are outside, I believe, of the actual high school. So like if you've received some sort of recognition for like say you won a poetry contest, you could put in that you won this poetry contest. So it doesn't necessarily have to be that it was something that you did for like through the school. It could be something that is academic outside of the school as well. Community-based organizations, this is where they're asking you things like AVID or Open Doors, those kind of programs that may have done something to support you or help you during your high school career. That's what they're going to ask you here. So on mine, I just put in 0 so that I could go forward. But let's say I select 2, it's then going to ask me to choose which organizations that I received the most help from. So that's kind of a little bit subjective. But like if you're an AVID, I believe that this is where you would add that in here, that you were part of AVID. So you can put that in, and then you would put in your AVID instructor's name here, and you should also get their email address as well. And you are going to put in like the school's phone number. You can ask them for a phone number. We all have phone numbers set up where it's technically through the school, but you're not actually calling the school. You're calling basically to our computers because we're all teaching remotely. So we each have our own phone number. So we could put those in there. I'm not sure. You'll want to check with that AVID teacher how they want to be contacted, because I don't want you guys like putting in that phone number and then nobody answering it and them actually trying to get a hold of them. Okay. So you're going to go ahead and do that, and then fill out the future plan. So basically asking you what kind of careers you're interested in. If you're not sure, I do believe that there is an undecided in here somewhere. I just kind of clicked on the first thing that was in there because I was trying to see what it does. Yeah, undecided's all the way at the bottom. Or if there's nothing on the list that you're interested in, then you're going to select other. So we have to fill out all of those things here in order to now be able to go do the other thing. So once you've done all of that under education, you don't have to finish filling everything out now in order to sync up with Naviance. Okay, so you can stop at the edge of education, go back to the dashboard where hopefully you have selected at least one school. All right, open up the school of your choice that you want to use. Remember that some of them do charge for submitting an application. So be aware of that before you actually submit the application. You don't have to submit an application in order to fill out your FERPA though, okay? So when you open up a school, you'll see over here on the left-hand side that there's a bunch of different little side tabs here. One says application. This is going to go over the things that are in addition to the common app that school wants, okay? So they may want another essay. They may want some other documentation. They might even ask you to take placement tests, all right? Things like that. What you're going to be looking for is the thing that says recommenders and FERPA, okay? So select recommenders and FERPA. And then, yeah, it looks like you only have to do this one time for all of the schools, okay? So that means you only have to fill out the FERPA one time, and then it applies it to all of the schools that you add here, okay? So you will have a little blue button here that says fill out FERPA or FERPA, and then, so I'm gonna show you what it looks like. It's gonna give you some information. Please do read this. I know we're all so used to user agreements that we don't really read things, but it is important for you to understand your rights when it comes to your privacy and your information, because basically what you're doing is you're giving away the right to share your personal information, which means you're giving somebody the right to all of the information they need about you in order to steal your identity and rack up a bunch of debt in your name. So you may want to, think about that before you share it with other people. But in this case, we are signing this form so that you're sharing information between Common App and the schools that you're going to be applying to. If you don't sign this form, we can't sync up with Naviance, and you actually can't submit those applications. Okay. Yeah, in honors, if you're taking an honors course, I do believe that those grades are weighted differently. So when you're doing the education thing, you're going to have to say that you're using a weighted GPA. But again, I'm not entirely sure exactly how that goes. So you would want to double check that with your counselor. And if you're not sure who your counselor is, especially for students who are new to our high school, let me know and I can look that up for you guys really quickly. So after you've read through everything about FERPA, remember that's a law. Purpose of the acronym for a law. You're going to click off that you've read and understand it and click continue. Then it's going to ask you to share your information. Like, do you give permission? Do you not give permission? Be careful what you say. Because if you say, I do not waive my right to review all of the recommenders and supporting documents, that can slow up your application process. Okay. But basically you're going to say, I want to waive that right because otherwise you have to review every single one of them before it's submitted. And then you're going to say, I understand that waiving my rights cannot be changed, blah, 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 blah. And then you're going to type your name and put in the date and then just say save and close. And then your FERPA is complete. And now when you go over to Naviance, which unfortunately I can't show you because I don't have a Naviance account that is attached as a student to anything that I can legally use because of FERPA. What you're going to then do is go through that part where you're going to sync it. Okay. So remember when you're on Naviance, you're going to go to the colleges I'm applying to. And that's when it's going to give you the thing that says that you need to connect your Naviance account to your Common App. Okay. So you'll basically just follow the prompts that it gives you. Any questions about that process? I see Dr. McKinney was here. I didn't notice her. Not sure if she's still here. Hi, Dr. McKinney, if you're still here. Any questions? I know this is a process. Everybody's little application is going to be slightly different. There's nothing that I can say that is like a blanket statement for everybody. Just like everybody's college experience is going to be different.
If you asked a question in the chat, I answered it. So go ahead and check there if you answered one in the chat. I was doing attendance while Angel was asking, so I apologize for that being late.
Okay. So Angel, if you already submitted one, it's okay. You don't have to do another one. But that is a good question. I'm going to point out to everybody, I think I forgot. When you are on the dashboard, because I know a lot of people are asking, what can I use for documentation that I applied for college? So when you're on your dashboard for Common App, you'll see the schools that I have listed on this dashboard say application and then in progress. When you have actually submitted the application, it's going to change that to submitted or applied, I think. One of the two. I'm not 100% sure because my husband would kill me if I applied to college for him because he hates school. Not to mention he actually has done more than enough continuing education through other programs. So yeah, so it'll change that status there. So you can either take a screenshot of that status page for us, but make sure that your name is viewable in that screenshot. Hold on, I'll show you. So it'll say welcome and then your name. You can cross out any information on here that you don't necessarily want to share. Like if you don't want us to know your little Common App ID, not that there's much we could do with it, or your personal email address, then you can block those out, but I need to be able to see your name so I know that it's yours. So that's one way you can do it. Another thing you could do is sending us a copy of like an acceptance letter, sending us a copy of an email that you've received saying that your application was submitted. These are all pieces of evidence to show that you've actually applied somewhere. Okay. So there's lots of different ways that you can do it. Any other questions? These are all great questions.
I just answered another, I gave you another answer, Angel, so go and double check that.
All right. Yeah, Naviance is how they send your transcripts. Naviance is also how you're going to request letters of recommendation from your teachers. So I'll show you guys how to do that. I'm going to sign in as my fictitious student here. I like how the one fox kind of looks like Elton John. All right, so when you are on Naviance, okay, one of the things that you're going to need to do is to request letters of recommendation from teachers, okay? And again, I do not use this on a daily basis, and this is really the first time that I'm logging in on the student side of things and looking at things. So if I take you down the wrong hole, I apologize now. And I understand your frustration with these websites because I can see that. So I believe you're going to go to colleges I am applying to. Okay. Here you see it says request transcripts. That's where you can request the transcripts for them. Maybe am I in the right place? Yeah, okay. So, and this is why I said, because I was not able to find it unless I went here. So it says letters of recommendation. Some colleges require letters of recommendation to be submitted with your application. Please visit the letters of recommendation section accessible from the main page. I didn't see it on the main page, so I wasn't sure how to get to it, but I know that if I go to this page, then there's a link there. So if I click on that link, it then takes me to that letters of recommendation page. I know there's supposed to be a better way to get to it. I apologize that I don't know that better way. So that's the way I know how to get there. So once you're on here, you can then request letters of recommendation from your various teachers. So if you click on submit request, here's what you get. You get the option to like pick any one of the teachers in our building. Okay, so, but what I'm going to tell you is you probably want to pick somebody that you've had for at least one full school year, or that maybe has been an advisor to you in some way. So if you have a coach or something like that, you're going to want to pick at least one person who you've had for at least one full school year. Okay. So and I would say, Sean, I love you, but I'm probably not the best person you would want to pick, but I could be a decent person. Because I had Sean in 7th grade. I could then talk about the fact that I had him in 7th grade and now I have him as a senior. I could probably put in my letter of recommendation, like things that I've seen about how he's grown as a person and as a student and things like that, which is a good thing to put into a recommendation letter. But I don't know how seriously they take that. So you're going to want to find somebody that you've known for at least one full school year, because that's going to look really good in that recommendation, because that person will have enough experience to be able to speak authoritatively on what kind of student you are, what kind of person you are, that kind of thing. And that's one of the first things that they ask us is like, how long have you known the student? So you're going to need to know the teacher's last name, because we're all organized here by last name. And you should probably email the teacher ahead of time and say, dear, I don't know, dear Miss Dixon, I am getting ready to apply to college. I would be appreciative if you could please fill out a letter of recommendation for me in Naviance. And then you would send that off to them. So you'll fill this out. This is where you're going to fill in a personal note. You can start off with a salutation, such as good afternoon, and put in their name. So I'm gonna put Mr. Awesome, and then put in just 1 or 2 sentences basically saying, I'm preparing to apply for college. I would really appreciate it if you could fill out an application or a letter of recommendation for me, and then say thank you and your name. That way, when we get the request, we know who it's from. We're reminded that you are a nice, polite person, and we like you, so that we want to say nice things about you, and whatnot. But also remember, if you've known a teacher for a very long time and you know that you probably have rubbed that teacher the wrong way, that they may not be the best person to ask for a letter of recommendation from. Because although they may say nice things, they may not. You never know. So pick somebody who you like and who likes you. That's my advice. All right. I cannot speak for other people. I am professional about the way I write my recommendation letters. I have on only 2 occasions declined to write recommendation letters for somebody. Only twice in my 15-year career. And one time it was because the student was applying to a program that it was like, they were lying to try and get into a program. It wasn't a college thing. And they basically wanted me to write a recommendation letter that lied for them. So that was why I said no. All right, so any questions about that? We as your teachers then get a little notification saying that we have to fill out a letter of recommendation on our side. There's like some digital stuff that we go through. We it says like, I can't remember exactly what it says, but basically, how organized do you think this person is? How responsible do you think this person is? And they give us like a scale of 1 to 5 kind of thing, like very responsible, very irresponsible, those kind of things. So we have to go through, fill that out, and then we have to attach an actual hard copy letter of recommendation. I would suggest that if you are applying to any Ivy League colleges or HBCUs, which I would also count as Ivy League colleges, I would suggest that you also request 3 or 4 letters of recommendation hard copy from some teachers, because a lot of those schools will ask you to go in an interview with the school. And it's nice for you to have a hard copy of those letters of recommendation for you to bring up and reference when you're discussing those with those schools. Okay. All right, so any other questions? Yeah, and Angel, Miss Narduzzi is going to talk to Mr. Russell, so he can stop putting pins in my little voodoo doll. All right, so if there aren't any other questions, I'm going to go ahead and stop our recording.